Now finish your inspection. It's time to chat about it. So finish your inspection, and then before you go write up your proposal, have one more conversation. So you want a open fireplace. Here's the language to use. Okay, and so you just double check. Then you come back, you're done. You say, okay, I finished my inspection. I want to make sure that I provide you with the best solution for you. When we talked earlier, you told me it was important that you can use your fireplace when playing board games with the kids. Or whatever they said. Maybe they said, yeah, fireplace doesn't create any heat. I want something else. And then you're not going to sell a HeatShield. You're going to sell a wood stove. You're going to sell a gas insert. They want heat. They want an open fireplace. They're going to tell you why. Why do you want an open fireplace? So when they tell you, be inquisitive. Ask questions. It's like you're on a date. Okay? Pull the thread a little bit more. Oh, well, I went to school at Vanderbilt. Oh, what did you like about Vanderbilt? Well, I was in a sorority there, blah, 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 blah. Same thing. You're on a date when you're selling. What do you like about your fireplace? Why do you like that? Huh. And then repeat it back to them. When you use their words, it's hard for them to argue with what they just told you about, which is why you were writing it down when they were telling it to you. When you write it down, now you have the information. If you're not writing it down, miss the boat unless you're a genius with a photographic memory. Don't confuse them, offer only one solution. Don't offer them a whole bunch. We know all kinds of solutions that we can do. Pick the best one. And don't assume that they don't have any money, because all of us have been in that little old lady's house with a threadbare carpet, and then she opens up her checkbook and there's $725,000 in that checkbook, and you knocked $1,000 off the price because you were trying to be nice to grandma. And then she writes a check, and you're just a devil, and you looked at that checkbook real quick, and you saw there was 700 grand in there, and you just wanted to slap that old lady because, jeez, I needed that $1,000 that I just took off, but you were trying to be nice to her. Don't assume these people don't have the money. All right, you're ready to do the paperwork. Where do you want to do it? I like the kitchen table. Wherever you're going to do it, don't get it dirty. Example. Based on the size and length of your flue, the entire repair will be $3,900. $979.68. So there's a book by Chris Voss. It's called Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss is a FBI hostage negotiator. He writes a great book. Fantastic. It's about negotiating. It's about, sales. It's about great stories. Anyway, he said, be exact. When you're exact, kind of looks like you figured something out. Like maybe there was some sort of formula. Maybe there was a method to your madness. I don't know. Makes you look a little more professional instead of about 4,500. Well, where'd you pull that number? Well, we know where you pulled it. Right out of there. And then when they say, oh my gosh, can you just do a little bit better than that? I can't think I can pay that. Well, you can do it a couple different ways, and you can talk to your sales trainer about how you do it. But whatever you do, come back with another exact number. All right, I'll take 250 off. No. Looks like trim things down and sharpen my pencil and $226.37. Do that. That's exact. And they're going to go, whatever. And make some note, but really what you're doing is doing this. Anyway, so then, at any rate, So keep moving. This includes installing the access door and the exterior of the chimney, resurfacing the flue with HeatShield, repairing the smoke chamber, and spraying it with surfactory foam. I can schedule the repair for next Thursday. That's if you know that you can do that. It would be a good idea if you kind of knew that. We can get it on the books next week. This is called a trial close. Because they might at that point say, yeah, let's do it. Oh shoot, that was easy. I just sold that. Trial close. Throw the balloon up. We can do it next Thursday. It may take most of the day, but when we're done, you'll be able to burn your fireplace with confidence. It's one of the things they want. They want that peace of mind. Take that and use it. Teach your people to say something like that with these elements. It works. Handling the objections, that's too expensive. Well, you didn't build enough value. Or they're not going to make a decision like that, and they're going to tell you that it's too expensive because that's the easiest thing to say to get you to go away. But you already pre-qualified them, right? If they tell you that it was too expensive then and they say it again, maybe it is too expensive for them. You mentioned, we've got financing. 0% for 12 months. Or you can take 5 years to pay for it. Whatever you want to do. Anyway, don't act offended. If you want to, I'm more confrontational, so I'll say, too expensive? Compared to what? Getting your teeth cleaned? Yeah. Building a new chimney? No. New car? No. Maybe that's because they're going to pull out the other estimate. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, we talked about the price earlier. I thought you wanted to use your fireplace because you can't use it. Not until you get it repaired. You get more information here. The clients, especially the shrewd ones, will then pull out the estimate from the other company. Bingo! Other company's bid. You want to see it. You want to see if you got apples to apples, oranges to oranges. You want to take a look at it. Never go hard and tell them that the other guy is a crook, even though he might be. You can hint around it, but be very careful. If they smell that you're trying to say that this other company is bad, it's going to make you look bad. Just stay on the good side and talk about the good things that you talked about your company. Also, if it comes down to price, hey, 5% off first responders, seniors, military. Chuck, 5% of my profit. Let me give you a hint. Ready? This is going to be crazy. Put the 5% in the job already. Put that in there. Oh, and while you're putting that 5% in there, why don't you put that 3% in that's going to for the credit card costs? Why don't you add that in already? Have that already in. So when you're giving 5%, ain't no thing but a chicken wing. You're good. Do that. Raise your prices. Assume the close again. Do you have any more questions about the repair process? All right, just need to get a signature and 33% down or whatever you want. If you say that you only take 10%, you just take 10%. But hey, ready to get this started? All I need is a signature and a down payment. Now, that sounds like a process to me and not necessarily asking for the business. You're just laying out how it's done. So if you have guys or girls, people that have a hard time asking for the order, have them just tell them what the process is. And for us to get started, all we need is a signature and a deposit. Silence. Whoever talks first loses. Other ways to close the sale, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. They may object and say, I got to talk to my husband, or I got to talk to my wife, whatever. Maybe that's the way they do it in their household. It happens. Standard response, I understand, I wouldn't expect anything else. Hey, I want you to be completely comfortable with the process that we laid out and the way that we're going to do it. It's A-okay. When should I call back? Should I call back tomorrow? Should I call back the next day? Oh, my husband gets back from Singapore next Tuesday. Okay, well, we're not going to call him on Tuesday night or Wednesday or anything else. You think Thursday would be a good time? Yeah, that would be fine. Put that down in your calendar and make sure you follow up and do what you say you're going to do. It's called integrity. Do what you say you're going to do when you said you're going to do it. Mrs. Jones, so I'm going to call you on Thursday, right? Yep. Okay, thank you. You could even, so get the text, phone number, and text her. Still okay for me to call on Thursday? Whatever. Be courteous, thank me for your time, blah, blah, blah. My best salesperson gives his cell phone number. So he's texting all the time with these people. Yeah, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. So if you want to call me ahead of time, that's fine. I'm going to give you a call. If you have any questions, you call me. And I'll tell you, it's crazy. We're down there in the morning, and he helps get all the guys out because he's a service manager too. That way I don't have to do it and get my hands dirty and all that kind of stuff. And yell at the guys, which, you know, sometimes they drive me crazy. And he's doing that, and he'll just be, boop, phone rings, and he's walking the other way and selling jobs all the time. When you give your cell phone number, I don't like giving my cell phone number to clients. I never did. He's not afraid of it. He just embraces it. I'm afraid of it. I don't want to be called. You know, it's just, that's my own problem. He sells $1.5 million. And he doesn't sell $1.5 million on warm calls either. He sells $1.5 million going on sweeps. Cold. Ice cold. Sells them. But he leaves the phone number, gives the phone number, and these people call him all the time. They're calling him at 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, on the way to work, on the way home from work. He gets phone calls up until 9 o'clock at night. It's a lot of stuff, but you just tell people, hey, you can't call me after 7. I'm with my kids. Whatever you tell them. Follow up, follow up, follow up. If you don't have a system for follow up, you got a problem. You need to figure it out. You got to have the system. The techs are the best people to do it because they're the ones that were there. They're the ones that did the proposal. They're the best ones to do it. But they are the hardest ones to get to do it because they don't want to make phone calls. But big surprise, my lead guy that sells $1.5 million, he follows up on his. Okay? Do it 24 to 48 hours. 24 hours at the most. Hey, just giving you a call. We talked about a lot of things. There was a lot of information there. I'm just calling to find out if there's anything I can clarify because we'd really like to get the work done for you. Did I mention before that we had the financing? Getting that financing in for you. And keep calling until they tell you, hey, stop calling. We don't want to get the work done. Keep calling until that. So for our company, 70% of all the estimates that are gonna close in the first 7 days. Mark was saying that his might be 60% and it might be 2 weeks, but you haven't tracked it for a while. But it's something like that. It's probably higher now since you got some really good salespeople here. Probably higher than that. But let's look at what that looks like. So this is out of our tracking system. Dan, Fernando, Jeff, Lenny, Rob, Ryan. On the spot, 22% for Dan. Fernando sells 32% of his, so on and so forth, all the way down. Averages, crazy, 30%. So 30% of the jobs that are going to close on the spot for us. Yours is going to be different. It would be interesting if you actually tracked it. Okay? Then in the first 7 days after that, another 40%. So in the first 7 days, 70% of it closes. It's going to be different for every company and every market. But if you start tracking this stuff, it's interesting and it might tell you some things. Okay? So here, we didn't have anyone. So in 2016, we had a manager leave and go start his own chimney company. At any rate, so he left me without anyone to call back my estimates. And that year, without calling any of the estimates back, it was only 198,000 of those estimates that came in. The next year, we had 2 people part-time calling them all. Big surprise, it doubled. So what does that tell you? Maybe if somebody, not even if it's the technician, but somebody actually calls them back. It could be just a man or woman in the office following up. Yeah, they're going to have to go to the technician and get questions answered. It's going to be a longer process. It's the busiest time of the year. You're already crazy. I get it. It's an extra 200 grand for us. Follow-up emails. So some companies are like, calling is for the birds. Got no time for calling. We have these 7 emails. And you set it up in this automated system, and those bad boys just go out, and your people in the office just keep answering phones and doing whatever, and they're not doing anything. They're not sending any emails out because it's already loaded into a system. There are companies that can do that for you, and there are various degrees of success. Do it that way. Better than nothing. Important. It's not necessarily part of the sales thing. We only do 4 appointments a day because it gives our guys time to sell. There are companies that are only doing 3 a day. And I've heard that there's companies only doing 2 a day. We got 2 a day if there's not enough work. But we do 4 a day. Something to think about if you're not doing it or you're doing more than that. There's reasons why. Your sales trainer will talk about it. You or someone has got to look at the numbers, okay? Someone's got to look at the numbers of the sales management. Someone's got to own that. Use a spreadsheet, start tracking, write it down with a pen and paper. It's no big deal. We use a system that's more complicated, but it tells us all kinds of data. So this is Dan Wise. So he's my number 3 sales guy, and it talks about the different jobs and who the installer was, because he's a salesman only and pushes every job. He doesn't do any work. He sells and pushes the job. So there's the job revenue, what the cost was, what the gross profit was, commission, sold by the tech. There's the commission in actual dollars. Here's the number these numbers are important to me. Because we figured out that we need 55% gross profit. You guys have to figure out what your gross profit needs to be. Because I don't want my sales guys, because now, here's the funny thing that happens. You start talking about sales, 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 sales. And then you get, this is what happens with salespeople. All of a sudden, this guy's selling like crazy. But the jobs are all underbid. And then you're not making the money that you need to make. So you got to be careful with these salespeople. You know, all of a sudden you're giving them a little bit of information and it's not enough. So you want to look at your profit there. The good news is many ways to skin this cat. You don't have to be the best in the country. If you just do a little bit, move the needle 5%, it can change the whole game. There's lots of people that can help. You just have to ask for the help. And that's all I got.